What's up, crypto family? I'm back with another update. Right now, we're sitting at the 600, 6848. Right now, it's cold down in Florida. But right now, Dogelon has 1.3 million people on the watch list, and we have 127,000 holders. Okay, fam? Listen, we're growing. They don't want you to buy, they don't want you to hold, but I have some exclusive clips of longevity. I know most of you guys say, hey, Brown, you're not even saying it right. Hey, I got a little patois in me. I got a little island in me. You know what I'm saying? So excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? But number two wallet is up to 133 trillion. Okay? They're accumulating, and everybody else down below them is accumulating as well, family. So don't be scared. I'm loving the dip. I'm loving the prices right now. So that's not nothing. But when I say bankroll after bankroll, big money. I like it. Billionaires, bankroll. Cell rejuvenation tech as the latest gambit to slow aging. All right. Let me get this on. On January 19th, co-founders Rick Klausner and Hans Bishop publicly launched an aging research initiative called Altos Labs with $3 billion initial financing from backers, including tech investor Yuri Milner and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Okay, this is the latest in a recent surge of investment in ventures seeking to build anti-aging interventions on the back of basic research into epigenetic reprogramming, modifying chemical marks on DNA to turn genes on or off. In December, cryptocurrency company Coinbase co-founder Brian Armstrong and venture capitalist Blake Byers founded New Limit, an aging-focused biotech backed by an initial $105 million investment with the University of California, San Francisco's Alex Marson, and Stanford's Mark Davis as advisors. Now, first thing first, you guys see that Brian Armstrong, he's also into it. He's a billionaire. He wants to live longer. Rick Klausner, Jeff Bezos, Peter Thiel, Mark Cuban, all of them want to live longer, family. So think about it. Don't you think CZ Binance want to live longer as well? So when you guys are worrying about, oh, when are we going to get listed? We're going to get listed indefinitely. We definitely going to be listed. Okay? They all want to live longer. Dogelon Mars is the hidden key. It's the hidden key. Okay? So the developers who developed Dogelon Mars, when they invested 100K into it and threw it away, and they got millions locked away that they can't touch, they know billions and trillions will be made into this cryptocurrency. Now, let me get to these juicy clips so you guys get deep down how I come as Altos Labs. All these places that's trying to rejuvenate our cells to become younger.
Identify a longevity company? Is it a company that is, because aging is a risk factor for all chronic diseases. Is it a life sciences company? Is it something that's treating infectious diseases, even COVID-19? Is it a cure for menopause? Is it a company that is helping us make menopause optional? David, what would you say is a longevity company, and how can we support that ecosystem?
Well, I would start with looking at the science behind these companies. Scientists like us, we're publishing in the top scientific journals, in the top 10. You want to find that because there's a lot of people who claim that they can do things and they're selling things, selling ideas, but you've got to start with good science. And so aging research really is at the forefront of biology now. There have been 2 Nobel Prizes awarded related to aging. There's probably more coming, but you got to start with that. That's the basis. And then, of course, you look at the usual things. But what's exciting is that there are dozens of companies that are working on the science of longevity to make medicines. Now, these are not medicines that will initially be used to treat aging unless the FDA suddenly changes its rules. I don't think that's going to happen for a few years, but it will happen. And those companies will be ready. And then there'll be some of the largest companies on the planet. But in the meantime, what we're all doing, and we have companies that are working on using the biology of aging to treat particular diseases. They can be rare diseases. They can be chronic. They can, such as obesity, diabetes. They can be eye diseases. For instance, the reprogramming stuff, where reversing blindness. And then you get on the market, and the prediction is that those drugs will be used by doctors to test other aspects, other diseases. And just like the statins for heart disease, it'll start with a small, such as a familial hypercholesterolemia was Lipitor, and then it just blew up and became one of the world's best-selling drugs, and Pfizer became very wealthy. That's what we're expecting to happen here. But we have to stay laser focused. We cannot take on aging initially. We have to go for the fastest, most efficient way onto the market, which are often those diseases I mentioned.
Yes, and I think we've seen companies going for rare diseases as first indication, but hoping that these drugs will be able to have a much larger addressable market of basically everybody undergoing aging. Eric, any comments for investors in how to identify good longevity companies?
Yes, I think the first factor is the fact that we live in an aging population. Is a good indication of this. Last year, for the first time in the US and in many Western countries, we're selling more diapers for adults than we're selling diapers for children. That's a symptom of things to come. The number of people above 70 first is larger than the number of kids under 5. So, and if you look at countries like Germany and Japan, we see the writing on the wall is that by 2050, close to 40% of their population is going to be older than 65. So what this seismic demographic change represents as an investment opportunity is actually unprecedented. And I would encourage you, if you haven't looked at the aging space, to actually take a good look. There are going to be amazing opportunities, and we here are, of course, focusing on the cutting edge basic science companies that are going to be targeting the aging process. But there's a whole ecosystem of what happens in an aging society. How do you maximize the potential of all of its citizens? With respect to what are these companies going to be developing? I think there's some, David made a really good point. Is aging a disease? I think there's been a lot of debate whether it is truly a disease or not. And I think for me, I try not to focus on this, but what the field has been doing is to actually redefine a whole series of diseases that are associated with aging that had not been recognized as diseases in the past. And I'll give you a good example. Sarcopenia, the loss of muscle mass associated with aging, occurs to some different degrees in different people. It is now recognized as an indication. The inability of a person to respond to a vaccine, which we know occurs in 30% of people above 70, was not recognized as a disease, but now we're conducting clinical trials against these indications. The loss of thymus, which is a gland behind your sternum that actually contributes to the diversity of your immune system, again, was not considered a disease. We know it happens early as menopause. That is now being used as a clinical condition. So you can see over the next few years, we're going to be treating a whole series of conditions that were considered sort of part of aging in the past. And I think all of these drugs and discoveries have the potential to do exactly what we started with, which is to really increase the quality of our later years and hopefully to not only have an increased health span, but also an increased lifespan and a more productive life.
Whether you love them or hate them, this was the beginning of the greatest transformation of wealth the world has ever fucking seen since World War II. See, I know what he was going to do. I knew and I know what he's going to do now. And he hasn't even got started. Now, what are you going to tell your kids and your grandkids 25 years from now when they say, gee, Daddy, gee, Grandpa, what were you doing other than having your thumb up your big fucking ass during the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of the world? What were you fucking doing? Fuck all, nothing. That's what most of you will tell them, your grandchildren and your children. It's never going to get any better than this, kids. This is the, as I said on YouTube, the eye of the perfect motherfucking storm. This is it. I never thought I'd live to see it again. This is going to make the 80s look like a nursery rhyme, which I praise Allah, praise Buddha, praise God. I participated in slashing and raping everybody in the 80s, legally. This is going to make that look like a fucking nursery rhyme. And what are you going to tell your kids? Oh, I had to spreadsheet it. I had to think about it. I had to read another book on M&A, you fucking morons.